Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gents. Hope everyone is well. Oh, that is very tempting there, very tempting. There is a lower high there. Now, hey Speedy, how you doing, buddy? There is a lower high there. Very tempting. We've had a measured move. We've been up to these highs. I'm just sitting tight at the moment because the market's about to open. Sometimes it can get a little funky. Hey Kev, how you doing? Ionis, how you doing? So as you can see, I took a trade there. I had to, really. We seem like we're having a leg up and a leg up, and it looks like it's pushing up to. You'd expect that to get up to these highs, if not a measured move, and it was. Two little legs down and a nice little second entry. The bar looked good. I thought it was okay and it worked beautifully. When it went up, it started to stall at these highs a little bit, and I'm thinking, are we finding some support here? So because I haven't really taken a trade much in the last couple of weeks, it's just been that difficult. I mean, usually I go for 10 ticks. That comfortably made it. But, you know, sometimes when you think, you're getting a trade, I mean, that went up for 4.75 points. So my 10 ticks would have been ample. But yeah, you know, when you just get a little bit nervous, I'm happy. It's put me up nearly $1,200 in half my accounts anyway, so I'm pleased with that anyway. So hope everyone's had a great weekend. I will say, folks, I have joined Thomas Wade's group. I'll just drag it in so you can see this. If anybody is interested, this is there. There's me there. I am a paying member. I have paid, I think, $105 for 3 months because I do rate him as a trader, and there is some experienced traders in here. I know Marco trades in here. You can see Marco up there and Thomas. So for me, it's a worthwhile investment. So if anybody is in, you know, I don't get any discounts. I don't ever, you know, no affiliates or all of that. But if you are interested, just wanted to let you all know that that's my choice of Discord at the moment, because there is some experienced traders in there, and as we know, as we sort of develop our trading skills, there's a ladder in front of us of more experienced people. So I know there's Marco in there, I've always respected, and also Thomas Wade as well. So and that scratched the surface. There's a lot of other traders in there. So this is just going to help me tweak to the next level. And also, if I can just drag that in quickly, they have a room for the CL chat and the NQ as well. So there's quite a few different trading sort of discussions going on in here. So I think it's worth the money. I think I paid $105 for 3 months, so it's about $30 a month. So for me, so if anybody is interested, I think you can join, I think, via Thomas Wade's website, which is at the bottom. Now, I'm not an affiliate at all. As I say, I am a paying member. But I just wanted to let you know. So if anybody is interested, you know where. So we've had a couple of legs up there, and we've made that perfect measured leg. That trade worked nicely. I had to look at it twice, actually, because when we see a setup, it's kind of a setup we don't see a lot lately. So I had to sort of, what room is that? It's, if you look on Thomas Wade, I'll just show you quickly. If you look on Thomas Wade's his webs, where is it? Yeah, if you go on to, typical, I can't find what the video is now. Let me just open this up a bit. I do like Thomas Wade, and I do like, he's quite involved actually. He's already put a couple of pictures of charts and stuff like that. So if you go into his YouTube channel there, he doesn't stream, but he is in this chatting. He's had a few messages this morning already, and if you click there, you can join. I think, let me have a look. I think that's it there. I don't think it shows you. I think, does it? Let me have a look. I'll just make it a little larger. Let me just open it up quickly. Yeah, it's not showing the amount that the cost because I've already joined, but there's my membership anyway. So I've paid 105. There's me sort of billing stuff. So if anybody is interested, just go onto his YouTube channel, and if you want, you can sign it. There's no, it's up to you guys. That's all. I'm just letting you know, because for me, I'm just trying to climb up to the next level, and I like the fact that I know Thomas now trades the CL. Marco trades. Let me just drag it in again quickly. You can see Thomas up there. He's live now, and Marco is. I know both of those trade the CL, but I like the fact that there is a CL chat room in there. You can see people there and pictures and stuff. And there's an NQ chat room as well. An NQ chat room and an S&P. I'm in the main S&P main room, I think. Is that the main room I'm in or what? Or is it that one I'm in? Yeah, I put a couple of messages. That's the one I'm in anyway. So if anybody is interested, it's there. If it's there if you want it anyway. But I think it's worth it to help me just to sort of improve a few things, and it's always good to. It's okay. Sorry, I can't see your comments. Okay, it's always good to have more experienced traders than you. I think traders, from what I gather, it's kind of like a hospital, really, isn't it? You've got your nurses, you've got your junior doctors, your more senior doctors, and your sort of consultants. So you sort of always look, to the level above for help, experience, and just to sort of brush up skills. But I haven't really traded the CL much, but I am gonna now. I've got half my accounts in my replicanter, half my accounts now attached to the CL, which is above my head, and the other half are attached to this here. Now, I've looked at the CL now for the last few weeks, and it works very similar, set up to exactly the same, but I know Marco, I know Vladdy does, and I know Thomas Wade, and then there's probably a bunch of others that do trade it, so it is something valid. So we've got a leg and a leg. It's hard to say what we're doing at the moment. We have got some news coming up. Let's not forget that in about 8.5 minutes. So I have changed a couple of colours on my charts. I've gone from green to this colour just to spruce it up a bit. Make it a bit more interesting. Just something a bit different. In fact, I've just realised how grubby my chart is. I'm going to... sorry, my screen is... you forget when you use it every day. It gets a bit mucky. So I've said hello to everybody. Have a nice speedy, Kev, Ionis and Brandt, I think so. Yeah. I can't remember. Thomas, how you doing, my friend? I can't remember the last time I took a trade before the market opened, in all fairness. It was a while back. Trouble is, it started to struggle a bit there, and I'm thinking, oh my God, are we getting some support along here? But we got a touchdown here. It looks like a leg and a leg, so I think it's fair to expect the market to get up to these levels. I was doing a little bit of studying over the weekend, about price and markets and stuff like that, and sometimes I tend to forget that price does move towards liquidity. So as it's moving up here, where's the next natural level of liquidity? It's going to be up here, isn't it? So I'm just keeping that in mind when I take a trade. It's clearly 2 legs up. So where's the next level of liquidity? Well, there's going to be some here, isn't there? And there's probably going to be some here. So unless that pushes up, if we retest this, you'd expect this to come down, and there's going to be liquidity sort of around maybe here, possibly here, and then again down here. So, Rodian, how you doing? Good evening. Good evening. I'm also looking at the NQ 1000 tick chart. Now I've decided to get rid of the NQ 1500 tick chart. I did a little bit of research over the weekend, spoke to a few people. Now, there was a trade on Friday that was actually a really nice trade that I missed. And I've noticed I was just having a think over the weekend, and what I use the NQ for is a little bit of confirmation if I see a trade that the setup might not be perfect. But I think what I'm doing is I'm looking for an excuse to take a trade that might not be perfect. And quite a few people said, see, I had it under the impression it's more that the ES follows the NQ, when apparently there's 3 times more liquidity in the ES, so it's more likely the other way round. So this trade that I'm not trading at the moment anyway, it's going clearly sideways, but this trade I missed in this nice downtrend. It was actually a real nice setup. Was it there? I can't remember. I think it was. We had a really nice... Let's have a look. I think it was there. Yeah, it was. I think every man and his dog took it by me. I mean, you can clearly see that channel is fitting beautifully. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Tick away, perfect. It's touch. It's actually fitting really nice, and that is a really nice confirmation. And we had a little leg up with a break, another leg. See, 2 clear legs up, a lovely big bearish bar. Now, Mac marked that. Whether I take that or not, I don't know. My concern would be, because we're at the bottom, we're going to trigger and go. But when we had that lower high, I think that's a must. And for some reason, on the NQ, it was a bit congested, and I had it. I don't know. I didn't listen, and I left excuse me, a really nice trade, which went right the way down for a possible 8.25 points, maybe a bit lower if you wanted to. But I mean, on that, I go for sort of 2.5 pushes. So by the time we've had that second bar, we've hit 3 points, a tick below there, comfortably worked. And what I found is good setups, they work, and they work quite quickly. And that one actually was very clear. But same again, looked at the NQ, it looked congested, so I left it. So I've decided, with a little bit of chit-chat over the weekend, getting a bit of help and advice from some people, I've decided to bin it completely. And some people said, by all means, trade it in as its own entity. So I've also got it up, and I'm just looking at it, and I've got it on a simulator. I'm just looking at it, but at the moment, for me, I think 2 charts is ample. As I say, I've got the CL chart above my head here. I haven't actually traded on it. I traded half my account, so I've just swapped over to the second half, and it just happens to be one of them that was just under the 50k that I've added again. So all I'm really doing is trading both charts. This I'm trading 10 accounts, and the other one 9 at the moment, but I have just passed the final evaluation, so I'll be moving on to 20 accounts tomorrow. So it really depends on the day. ES has more volume, but NQ will move more. True. So on low volume ES day, typically NQ will move price. Yeah. But the gist I got is, if you see a really good setup on the ES, regardless of what the NQ is telling me, I should still really take it. So it was a shame to lose a trade. As I say, I haven't seen a lot of trades lately, and I have, sometimes it'll keep me out of a trade and it'll go on to have lost. So it's done me a favour. But I think what I tend to do more than not is I tend to sort of, if a trade isn't brilliant, I tend to look at that for a reason to take it, when in all fairness, if it's not brilliant, I really should be leaving it alone anyway. So I've decided to get rid of it and just look at the chart, at 1,000 tick chart, which I think a few others tend to use, and just trade it on its own merit. So we have got some news coming up. Whether that I thought that might be doing that because of the news, but we have actually broke above it. So there's a channel there. If you think that's a channel, we've had a break of it and a new or a matching high at the moment, but I won't be surprised if that pushes up. We've also had 1, 2, 3. It's a triple test. So if it breaks above there, we may come back down, but we've got that news in the next minute and a half. So we're just sitting tight, really. Do you have any more space between your... Do I have any more space? Was that a bit sarcastic there, is it, bud? I have opened them up. Is that what you mean? Because I've opened them up a bit. I don't know. I messed around with chart a little bit. They're a bit closer together, aren't they? But what I've noticed on Thomas Wade's chart, sometimes his seem a bit clearer. visually looks more neat. Yeah, it looks. I'm looking at Thomas Wade's chart, and when he does his charting, his setups look clear, and I think he's left a little bit more gap, and he tends to open them up a little bit to make these moves look a bit clear. When they're sort of condensed down, sometimes, you know, that second entry long, when you look at it like that, it might be a little bit more clear. You see what I mean? So I've just opened things up a little bit just to see. Okay, so we made a matching high there, and this is pushing down, but we got this news, which is in 30 seconds. So if you're in a trade or looking at a trade, I'd just be careful. Hey, Kanan, how you doing? Demonstrate. Please, one more demonstrate news-based trade in OCO order. Okay, so if you're going to take an OCO order, right-click, select OCO, buy market order, sell market order, and then drag them in to above and below where you want them. Make sure you've got all your contracts, how many trading you do. But yeah, select OCO. You'll see it in green up there. I'll open it. But buy stop market above, sell stop market below, drag them into where you want them before the news. In fact, we've got news now, actually. And then hopefully, if we do get a big spike, if it pushes down, it'll cancel the long. If it pushes up, it'll cancel the short. And then you've got your... I don't know if the news is going to do anything, to be honest with you. Sometimes it goes stalls for a minute and then starts to flicker, but we're a minute into the news. What news is it? It's final manufacturing PMI. So we have got some more at 3 o'clock. ISM manufacturing PSI, whether that's going to make more of a difference. Sometimes it's hard to tell. What I do know is the CPI data tends to move rapidly. So let me just change that to 1500. I'll explain that again in a minute in case anybody didn't get it. I don't need to take any anymore because this one eval now will put me up to 20 count. So, but yeah, so if for some reason you open it and you delete and you close an account, you have to right click and deselect OCO order and then select it again. So if you want to do an order, now bearing in mind you can only really do these on evals. You're not supposed to do them on a, and you don't really want to be trading the news on your PAs, because the trouble is when there's that much moving through the market, it can make mistakes. Sometimes the software just doesn't tend to handle it well. But if you do want to have a go at it, right click, OCO order, buy stop market above, and sell stop market below. You've got the two orders, drag them into where you want them, below here or above here or whatever. And then if it goes up, triggers the long, it'll cancel the short and vice versa. And then obviously you set how many contracts if you want to try and pass it in one go. On ES is flat. NQ has pretty solid looking spike and channel. Yeah, I've reduced it down actually. Where did I get the 1,000 from? Who was it who said they trade 1,000? In fact, there is a kind of two legs down there and a little bar, but we've made a measured move, I think, or near as damn it. Let's have a look. Well, it depends where you draw this. I suppose theoretically it should go down there, really. Okay, so we're not far. Oh, sorry, I only added here, didn't I? So, yeah, okay, so we're about there in all fairness. So, but yeah, it is moving quite well, isn't it, this? Let's have a look. We've moved up about... where are we? 200 points. I can't sort of fathom it on the NQ. The ES, I kind of know what it is, but we've had a fair size move there. But we haven't really, have we? We've sort of more had a couple of legs. So let me flick over to the 1500 tick chart. I don't think that's going to be much different. No, it's the same thing. We've had two quite strong pushes up. So It just goes to show sometimes they can look almost identical, other times they can almost look like completely different. Yeah, it's prohibited on PA accounts, but not evaluations. Evaluations, you can more or less do whatever you want, in all fairness. There is kind of... This is interesting. We've gone sideways and we've bounced there. It's kind of a triple test, that, so whether that would have been a short anybody was interested in, it might not have been a terrible trade, that. Triple test. Not only a triple test, but a fade in the breakout. In fact, what I like is, look, Thomas Wade's posted his chart again, literally now, right this second. So he does post his chart quite regular, so he's just shown me that there is a bigger... So it's worth its weight, I think, this, personally. So that, really... Actually, I think that's a nice trade. We got a leg up with a break, new high, and that thing more or less engulfs it. And then we come down. So you could have traded that as a fade the breakout. Not only that, we got a triple test and it's faded, which works beautifully, to be honest with you. So I actually think that's okay. I think that's a nice trade, actually. It's interesting. It's actually a second entry short. If you look, the bars move around. First entry, second entry, when a bar breaks below, that's a second entry short, that is. And 1, 2, 3, it's also a triple test. So I think that was a nice trade. In fact, I'm tempted to take this up to there. Let me have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. Where was it before? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Tough one, that is. But look at that now. A failure there. Look at that moving down now. But we have got some news coming up. Sorry, my mistake. I hope you haven't looked at that. Just be aware, it's not 1400, it's 1500 UK time. Which is in about 8 minutes. But yeah, so far so good. It's turning into what looks like quite a nice range day. It's bouncing right at the same place. We've got 3 perfect tops there. Nice big bearish bar after that push up and a break. Nice second entry short. I think that was a nice trade, actually. So I would say that is probably... I'm just looking at Thomas Wade's chart now. That's what I like. I can look at his chart and check he's got the same as me. And he's took that from there. So we've got a break and a matching high. In fact, on Thomas's charts, it's broken it by a tick. Or has it? It's hard to tell, really. I think it might have done, you know. Okay, so I'm guessing we're around about halfway down. I think there's a good chance we get down the bottoms. So In fact, that CL chart is just diving. That's taking a bit of a dive, isn't it? Let's have a look. I've not traded this much, so I don't know whether that's a big move or not, really. It doesn't look like a big move. It's only a point. Is it a point? It's only a point or something. I've still not quite fathomed how this works. Let's have a look. Maybe there's a leg and a leg there. We're way past that, so that's interesting. Yeah, this is good, I think. Look, he's just posted another chart, so he's constantly posting his charts. Quick question, you guys. What I do is when I take a snapshot of this, I use Snipe Tool, and then I got to save it and find the file. Is there a quicker way of taking a snapshot of this to post on a Discord? Is there? Anybody know? Yes, I am, Thomas. I've paid. I think it's $105 for 3 months. Yeah, if you join, it's like you join his academy type thing, and there's loads of videos and stuff. For me, I think it's mainly for the Discord, for the traders that are in there. And Thomas is constantly posting his charts, which I like. So if you're not sure of a chart, he's just posted that down there. So it helps. If I'm, sometimes if you get a channel that you're not massively familiar with, yeah, he's just posted a second one. See, he's just posted that one, and as it's down, he's constantly posting charts. So I like the fact that. Let's have a look at the pay patch toolbar. So for God's sake, sorry about that. Kev, I use light shot lamps. Do you? Oh, someone's put Chris. Chris has put the pay toolbar screenshot button. There's a screenshot button. Oh, this lag's just. This news is coming up, isn't it? Look at that. It's just gone straight down the bottom quick. See, I haven't got it, Chris. Have I? Can you see it up there? Am I missing something? I got this toolbar maybe 2.5 to 3 years ago, so there's nothing there, is there? So, Kev, use light shot. You same as yours, but you press Control and C and then Control wherever you want to post it. You need to update the toolbar. I don't know. I can I? Because I'm not a paid member anymore. Okay, so you use light shot. So Kev, is that a bit of software you can download, bud? Is it? Do same as yours, but Control C and then Control plus V wherever you want to post it. Because there's got to be a quicker way. Yeah, it is. Okay, I'll have to look at that. Yeah, see, Thomas is posting is every few minutes. He's just posted one with this overshoot now. So, Geyser, is that Geyser or something? In fact, let me just take my phone and because what I do, Bitcoin's just at $70,000. What I do is a bit long-winded, I think. Sometimes when you just never got round to finding an easier way. Let me just take a photo of some of these, and I'll have a look later because it is a bit long-winded. I have to go into Snipe, then sort of put the arrow, and then do this, and then save it, and then go into the file, and then open the file, and then drag it in. It's a bit of a pain. Yeah, I do like Thomas. He's posted his chart every few minutes. He's posted one at 1458, one at 1456, one at 1455, one at 1454. So he is constantly one at 1453, one at 1450. So he's constantly updating his chart. I like that. Okay. Right. News, where are we? Okay, we're a few seconds away from the news, folks, so you don't want to be in a trade now. Let's see what happens. Okay, 1 second. Ooh, there we go. So, if you'd have taken a trade there, you need to get 12 points for the 250. You need to get 6.25 points to pass the 50k eval, and I think you'd have done it there. It did have little pullbacks, but not that much. So that, if you'd have put a long here or a short here, that would have passed you. Thomas Wade. Wow, I completely forgot there was news. He wouldn't have been in a trade there, I don't think, anyway. So this is starting to look like actually a really nice channel. Look at that. Touch, 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 touch. I'm happy with that. Fits nice at the bottom as well. I'm going to take that down just a smidgen. This is about as good as a range looks, really, I think. So we've been up to the top. There is a bit of a lower high there, but I'd like to get a bit higher than that. Let's have a look. Your chart froze. Okay, what I'll say is I traded the news. Let me just get rid of that OCO. I traded the news a few days ago, and I had problems. Oh, the orange order. Okay. Yeah, that does happen from time to time. I really don't quite know why. I did read somewhere that it may be to do with a simulated account, but it does say if it's happening regular to contact NinjaTrader and they'll advise you what to do. Because if it's a problem, and it seems to be a problem, in fact, I may even contact them myself. I will actually. I'll email them tonight. SCL's taking a real drop. Wow, that CL's dumping big style. Look at that. Oh, that's having a real drop, that is. Mind you, is it really? So the price of oil's come down. Is that like $77 a barrel or something like that? Is that what it is at the moment? $77 to 74. It looks like a lot, but I don't think it is, does it? Do you think it's better to lead with a sim, copy others? I don't know, mate, to be fair. I wouldn't like to answer that. If anybody else has any idea about that, what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to email NinjaTrader and say, in fact, I actually had a message from a guy from NinjaTrader a few months ago. I never got back to him, just saying about the platform, saying certain offers for people or whatever. And I meant to get back to him, but I never did. So I might catch up with him and just say, look, you know, I'm a streamer, and some of the viewers are saying about these orange orders. How can we get around them? Apex has always said not to lead with the sim. Yeah, that seems to ring a bell, actually. Yeah, I seem to have heard someone say that a year or so ago. So all I'll say to you is when you open, what you see of me doing, what I do is if I open an order, I generally open it up here
Order
out the way.
submitted.
That way, if something does freeze, you've got the time it takes to that, if it goes in that direction, to sort it out. And what I found, if you close that, right-click that and cancel orders, if it's still there, restart NinjaTrader, most of the time it goes. But the trouble is,
Order
sometimes when
canceled.
you drag them in, they go orange, don't they? But I'm gonna email them later and see if we can't get to the bottom of it, why it's doing it, and see if we can do something around it. So that's definitely an overshoot, I would say, hence the massive move up quick. Well, massive might be a bit extreme, but hence the quick move up. We pushed it here and then woof, launched up there. Actually, that was the news, wasn't it? My mistake. But we've had an overshoot there anyway, so I would suggest That looks like a channel with a break. Wow. That's very tempting. Very tempting. My only slight concern is we've come off the bottom. We didn't get as high as I would have liked at the top. It's kind of a leg and a leg, isn't it? Yeah. You've got a matching high. For me, really, I would prefer that closer to there, closer to the EMA. And not only that, I don't really want to go short all this way to the bottom. Will it work? Probably. But it's getting a bit congested now. We haven't broken above that yet, but I looked at it, but it's a little bit congested, so I think it'll work. But I didn't want to get involved in it. What I find now is I just look at a trade and I either really like it or I have to sit and think. And if I have to sit and think, it usually means it's not as clear as I'd like it. Something wrong with Apex Rhythmic. Be careful. Oh, shit. Somebody mentioned, I'm guessing somebody. What I found is I think it happened with 2 days in a row with Rhythmic, didn't we? And it always seemed to happen from 1:30 UK time at news events. So I would say I looked at the Discord for Apex, and there was a lot of people trading 250k accounts on the news. Now we all know if you trade a 250k account, you've got to get it to $15,000, which is a big amount. So I think a lot of people are doing that with the news, and whether it's that's causing a problem, I'm not too sure. So I'd just say just be careful. So I'm just not sure about going short that close to the bottom. It did seem to be a bit sideways. It's gone more sideways now. It did trigger. It came back. It went a bit further, but I don't know. Straight away, it just looks congested to me. If that was up here, that bar was up here and finished bearish, then 2 good legs up, that might be a better bar. But that, at the moment, it needs to be up here, really. The top of that needs to be up here and the body needs to be down here. That type of a trade, 2 pushes up. You could say that phased the breakout as well. It's 2 legs up, isn't it? It's blooming tempting, that is. Trouble is, we've come off the bottom. We didn't get quite up there. It's hard to say that, really. I don't think it's a terrible trade. Clearly working then. We got a leg and a leg. I was very tempted. I think it's okay to take that. So if you did 2 points, you got to get, well, actually, it's a bit off 2 points. Let's say there. I think that'll make 2 points, that. It is a failed breakout, but the trouble is we've come off the bottom, we've come to the top, we've got so far down there, so it's a tough one, that, but I'd expect that to get to 2 points. It's kind of a leg and a leg sideways and a leg, so it's a measured leg, nice bearish bar, and this came down, yeah, okay, so that would have worked nicely. I was very tempted. Perhaps I need to stop thinking a little bit more, and someone's put technical glitch. I'll be interested to see if Mac marks that. I actually don't think it's a bad trade. It's visually a second entry short, isn't it? We've got a channel down, 1 leg up, 2 legs up, break out of this range, came straight back in, a little bit of sideways there and eventually came back in, so yeah, clearly worked. Sometimes you just don't know, do you, in hindsight. See, I'm up a bit today, and it's the first time I've traded for a while. Okay, Thomas saying I'm considering a lower high, confirmation failed breakout. So he was looking for a lower high here. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny. Two Thomases have just said that. Thomas Wade said I'm considering lower high, confirmation failed breakout. And another Thomas has said, but you'd be better off waiting for the lower. That's it. Yeah. I was very tempted, but it's something just kept me out of it. A lot of the time they do work, but yeah, I think if you can get a lower high further down, I think it's a better option. I mean, the fact that it worked, you don't know. See, Mac might mark that as a high probability trade, but in essence, is it? It probably, what I think is, as it's pushing above here, there's going to be traders going long. And what I think makes that a little bit more valid is the fact that it has triggered it and it started to come down. Not with any vengeance, but I think it's the signal's there. When this one came down a bit, I think there's a fair indication we're going to come back into the range. But obviously by that time, it's too late to enter, really. You can't enter there, really. Well, even if you did enter there, it's still only 3.25 points. But I think really half the move's gone, really, when you go from there to there. So... but I like the fact that Thomas Wade said he was considering the lower high, and a couple of you guys were as well, Brant and Thomas. So the safer decision is to wait for it. I mean, it depends. I watched Bart fly. That's the type of trade he'd take. He takes trades that maybe 70 or 80% because he plays the numbers game and he's good at it. But for me, I still don't like the losses, so I tend to wait for that just little extra plus to the trade. It's actually working as a really nice range day so far. Thomas Wade, I am worried the main downtrend not fully reached the low. Yes, I agree with that. Downtrend, we only got here, didn't we? So, what's going to happen? Close to the low, yeah. See, I really like this. I like the fact that he's constantly putting messages on. He's literally put that on 1 minute ago. Another one on there 3 minutes ago. So he's constantly putting stuff on there. So for me, it's good value, I think. So this range is starting to look really nice. So that news is gone now, so we may have a little better day today. In fact, there's a second entry short forming on the 1,000 tick chart of the NQ. We've got a leg down and what looks like another leg. There's a second entry short there, trapping a possible higher low. Now, I'm not trading this at the moment, but I just noticed it. So, how much Thomas Wade? Well, I selected initially the $35 a month, but it wouldn't let me do it for some reason, so I had to select the let me find it, the 3 monthly I paid for, which was I think $105. I'll tell you now. But from what I've seen, the trouble is it's getting access to good traders, isn't it? And what I see, he's posted about 10 pictures and lots of comments. So he's very active in it, which is good. And it's almost like Mac. We get one of his charts once a day. So it's kind of almost like Mac posting a chart every 2 or 3 minutes. So I think it's really useful. Let me just find his website again. Okay, I see. I can't do it. As soon as I get into it, it's I'm automatically enrolled, so it's not showing cost, I don't think. No, because I'm actually in it now. Just click on Academy. No, it's not showing me the information, but I'm pretty sure it was 105. In fact, it'll be in my emails, I think. Trying to find him somewhere. Oh, okay. Where's junk? Ah, here we go. Yeah. I'll bring this in because none of my information's there anyway. So, yeah, that's my receipt. $105 every 3 months. So I signed up to that on Friday. So yeah, it's about $35, isn't it? Which is not too bad, actually. I didn't think he would spend as much time as this, but he's constantly in it. Yeah, he's just posted another one. That's a minute ago. So he's constantly posting charts and updates on his channel. So, you know, a lot of the times I'm in an RN about my channel. So what I'll say is if I get a channel wrong and take a trade and end up losing a trade, I'll lose a lot more than $105, and that's for 3 months. So I mean, you don't have to do it. It's up to you. But I think it's value for me. As I say, I'm a paying member. I'm no affiliate to him at all. But as you know, we do talk about Thomas Wade, and Marco's a moderator in there. I don't know who else is in there. I don't recognise a lot of names. But there's a lot of people in there. There's got to be a couple of hundred, a few hundred at least. Perfect date. Yeah, definitely it is. It is really starting to look like a really good range day. So 1, 2, we've been up the top here beautifully, and look at the bottoms. Touch, touch, touch. Perfect, actually. So let's have a look here. So I just need that little bit of, not necessarily help. I think my trading's okay. For me, I think it's lack of confidence. And I've had a little bit of a dry spell lately, as you know. And when you don't take a trade for a week or two, you kind of almost, not sort of partly forget, but lose a bit of confidence. So, you know, when I look at my charts compared to others, you know, he's just posted another one. When I look at my charts, so he's just posted another one there literally now. So he's constantly posting his charts in there literally every minute or two. So I like that. Now, he must have a quick way of posting those charts, which I've got to find out what it is. But yeah, I think it's, for me, it's lack of confidence, I think. There was a failure on the CL, which I didn't notice, which I think was okay. Just going to bring it in. I like the fact that it trapped some longs as well. So this is the CL. As we know, it's taking a big dive. So I've got it from there. Touches there, touches there, touches there. And we've got a break. Try go once, try go twice. Nice failure. Big, strong bull bar. So there's going to be traders going along there. That came down, triggered it. So I think that was an okay trade. You'd have got your money there comfortably. So I go for 10 ticks, $200. So this is on one contract. So I would be out there, which was comfortable. So I don't think that was a bad trade there. I might just have a flick into so look, I'm in the second one down. I'm just gonna have a quick look in the CL and see if anyone's posted it. Yeah, see, this is the CL. There's a CL room as well, so you can see people posting that chart. Whoever's, so I do like this. It's got a lot of value, I think. You took it, did you? Oh, good on you, mate. Yeah, it worked nicely, that did. I think that strong push out, I mean, it's such a big move down, isn't it? and that was the first clear break, and we made 2 more attempts to go higher. Let's just bring it in again if anybody didn't see. You can clearly see that's working nice. We had a touch here, touch, touch, touch. That's nice. And we come down at this bottom tier, then we had a push up, and then we had that clear break, clear obvious break with a break and a new high. And also we made sort of like a failure really, that triggered that big strong bull bar. So there's going to be traders thinking, yeah, we're reversing here, and then what happened? It started to work down, and it came down just enough to entice, to make it worthwhile, but I wasn't focusing at the time, but that clearly came down nicely. So whether that'll come down here, if we can get something attractive looking to go lower there, I think there's a good chance that will go lower leg down there. If we can get another little push up here, then there may be an option for a short there. Excuse me just for a second, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay. No trade here. High or low would have been nice there. I'm not really into fib retracements, but I think it's cool when they work. Yeah, they do, don't they, a lot of the time. I don't know whether fib retracements are more for more sort of Mac mentioned him once or twice. He's been brought him up once. But I think with these smaller movements we go to, you can pretty much tell, can't you? Unless we've got a bigger movement. But this type of thing, you can pretty much tell. Excuse me. So we push up. 1, 2, 3. We get a triple test to go along here. I'd still expect it to come to these highs. Yeah, he's constantly posting his charts, literally every minute or two. There's definitely a quick way of doing it. It's a lovely looking range, you've got to say. There is a higher low there. Trouble is, we've got a bit of support there, so I think it's a 3-point risk there. Tick above, tick below. I'm not risking $350 times 10 this close to the top of this. It may push higher. It quite probably will, but it just doesn't feel right to me. So that would take us up to these highs if it works. So maybe it's one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, pushes up for there. But the trouble is, see what's happened there. Now, whether that'll come down or not, I don't know. I'll be surprised if it does. But when you take a trade, that's not what you want to see. Okay, so if you'd have took that, really, you want to be out by those highs anyway, so not much of a move, really, in all fairness. You wouldn't have got a point there, really, if you'd have took it a tick above. That might be a better option. Trouble is, it's going into those highs. I'd expect that to push up, though. 1, 2, 3, and then up. Is there something larger there? Maybe. Push up, sideways, push up. It's a tough one. I don't like that wick, so I'm scrubbing that idea for now. But coming off the bottoms, you'd likely expect it to push up there. See, this, we ended up having 2 legs up before we came eventually back down. We didn't get down here anyway, so you'd think it would be likely to push down and click this, which we did. But I did look at that. I was very tempted. but the lower high would have been the better trade. So we're pushing up and we're having sort of very similar. So we may have a little failed breakout of it before we push up to the tops. There'll be maybe some stops there. So a new high. It has, but I'm not so much thinking about channels with breaks and new highs so much as more of a range. So I think it will be more likely to push up. So we may have a little breakout here, which may drag in some shorts, and then it may turn and push up. Same thing coming down here. We came down here and we ended up going a bit sideways, which we've done there, and having a big push out, which we could get here before we eventually push up. Let's see what happens now. So if you went short, seeing that move down there, let's see if it turns now. So there's always that possibility we could be moving in another direction. So we had the same thing. We came down, sideways, break, up, sideways, break out, and then up. Let's see what happens now. Could have the same as that, but inversed, or the other way around. So, hey, there's been some setups today. That may have been worth taking. Second entry short, failed breakout, triple test. I think that was okay. That one, leg down, 2 attempts up. It's the equivalent of a second entry short. Same again, fade in the breakout. I don't think that was a bad trade. So far, it's looking like a possible nice range day. I'm just not sure about this. I think we're doing the same sort of thing. So I think it's likely we're going to push back in here and eventually up to the top, based on what I saw there. But obviously there is a possibility that the market could have other ideas and we could slowly be working sort of down. But I think it's likely this is going to trap shorts and turn back up. We'll see. Is it the open? Yes, it's the open. So let's see if it uses the open to bounce. Okay, so that CL has played out perfectly. So we had the nice leg with the break. Nice trade that. Came down there beautifully. Did exactly what it was supposed to. Really nice, slow, steady downtrend. It looks like a huge move, this, but I'm pretty sure this is dollars per barrel. So what is it? 67. It's got, sorry, 77. It's gone down to 74. So it's only a few dollars, but kind of looks. It's trying to understand exactly how this is working. But that played out. It's a shame I missed that one because I would have taken that. So let's have a look. Okay, maybe this has got other ideas. Do you not like that second entry long on the last uptrend? Here. You know about that one there? Excuse me a sec. Sorry, the one before. That one there. I think I looked at that, mate. I didn't like that wick. Or have I looked at it? No, I don't think I noticed that, mate, to be fair. Was I looking at the top of that channel on the CL. I think for me it's a little bit, I prefer that little bit low, but I don't think it's terrible. How far did it go? I didn't notice it, I don't think. You'd have got 2 points out of it. For me, I prefer that body a little bit lower. Yeah, it didn't jump out at me, mate. As I say now, I tend to just look at something and go, oh, I either like it or I don't. Okay, just excuse me just for 1 second. My fridge is making a noise, apparently. Okay, excuse me. Okay, so we didn't quite get high enough. We made multiple attempts, but we came down. So, what's going on? Now, I'm concerned about going long here, just in case we're in some sort of a possible trend. Possible high low. So we've got a channel with a break, 1, 2 pushes down, 1, 2 pushes down to a new low. My concern is, why have we done that? There may be some short stuck there, but I'm just staying out of this at the moment because we've come off the bottom, we've pushed up, and we've had a break. We've made a couple of attempts to go high, and we've dropped pretty strongly. So there is always the possibility of something like that. I don't like the bottom, but what concerns me is we're making lower highs. So I'm just going to sit tight and see what goes on here. Sorry about the rustling. I'm just eating a pack of popcorn. Why won't it let me select that? Possible second entry short. I don't know how I feel about going short. We've just broken out of this. And looks like we're failing. Just wondering on this CL chart, are we going to get another leg down? Channel break, 2 pushes to a new low, coming back up here. We have to see where we sort of fall here, see if anything comes of that. Just looking at the CL, almost looks like a penguin style trade. We got a leg down, no argument there. One attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. It'd be interesting to see what happens up here. One attempt higher, second attempt higher. Keep an eye on that. Yeah, can't make up its mind. It came back to the EMA, pushed above it, and then dropped below it. wonder if there is something lower down. I wonder. Maybe there's a couple of legs. You have any Discord group? I don't, but no. I did open one once, maybe 6 months ago, but I'm not very techie, and there was a lot of spam in it, and people were getting messages and stuff like that. So I got rid of it in the end. I kept getting people saying, "Have you sent me messages?" So I think you need to know a little bit about them. So I know how to use them just about, but when it comes to managing one, which is why I've joined this one, really. I am a member of the Traders Den, but I do like the fact that there's Marco and Thomas Wade, and Thomas Wade seems to post his chart every couple of minutes. So a lot of the time I am an R about my charts, probably lack of confidence. So it's nice to have that sort of someone else corroborate, what I'm looking at. It's a little bit too wide at the moment for a channel. I mean, it could work in that channel for the rest of the day if it wanted to, but for initial, just leave it like that for a minute. So we've clearly made a measured leg there. Let's see if we make one here. Nice. So leg. It's actually a nice little correction there. Leg. Nice little correction. Unfortunately, no setup. Leg down. Two little legs up. And then down for a second leg. Worked perfectly, that did. So whether there is something larger, there may be. Just not sure at the moment. Maybe there is something like that. Possible, but for me, really, it's just two legs at the moment, which is clearly bouncing there. So that's so what started off to be a really nice range day. If you'd have sold there, if you'd have bought there, if you'd have bought there, all of those would have worked. If you'd have sold there, any bearish bar from the top. So these days, when they work out nicely the same, can be, real lucrative days. FOMO is real. So I think rather than necessarily a channel, it's more just two legs down. Sorry about that. So clearly 2 legs down. I like the way it's working along that bottom. Okay, incidentally, I think, what day is it? I think the 90% off ends tonight. Let me just have a check. Yeah, it does. 13 hours, which would be, time is it now? New York time 11. It should be 11, 12. 11 o'clock, 12 hours would be like, okay, midnight tonight Eastern time, 90% off. Just quickly, I'll show you. Finishes midnight tonight. Now, if you have a $250,000 evaluation, you can still have that offer pass in one day and only pay $85 for the one-off lifetime fee. And you can do that if you purchase one by the end of tonight up until the 15th. So you're not necessarily in a rush if you've got one, because it's quite a bit cheaper, $85 as opposed to what it normally is. I think it's about $300 normally, but even compared to the 50k one, it's still about $55 cheaper. So the normal 50k, everything else just finished tonight, and obviously whatever the price goes back to. But we've had some good deals lately, so I'll be surprised if it's any worse than 80% off. They did a point of going from sort of 71 to 80, from 71 to 80. We didn't have a 90 for a while, but we've had 90 for about the best part of a month. So I would say it'll be 71 or 80%. I'm hoping 80%. So, but just keep that in mind. If you have got one of the 250Ks, you're not in a rush. You can take up until the 15th of 15th of June. Let's have a quick look on that CL chat room. Not much more up there at the moment. Okay, so it has done what I thought it might. It hasn't quite gone as high as I would expected, but we got this big channel down, one attempt to go higher. So 2 legs up, push through the EMA, and then down to the bottom. I wouldn't even attempted that up until unless it was up here looking bearish. But it is sort of 2 legs. Unfortunately, that second leg isn't quite what I would have liked. But that is a nice move, isn't it? Shame about that one. I would have 100% taken that one. I think that was a nice trade. It's always nicer to trap some longs. It just gives her that more momentum. So that's a shame. Does Thomas have a wider channel? Yes, he does. So I love the fact that he's literally posting every few minutes. He went from 2 individuals, so it's definitely got value, this, for starters. It just confirms. The trouble is, when we get something from Mac, you get like one a day. Whereas the trouble is, up until then, you can sort of work out what you've done. But I like the way Thomas, he's constantly updating it literally, it seems every couple of 3 minutes. I'd love to know how he does it so quick. Or whether he can auto do it. That would be good, wouldn't it? So that looks like a little overshoot, and we've got a little double bottom there. Well, triple bottom, you may say. So I would expect maybe a correction, or to get up to here, or possibly a reversal. Yeah, he's just posted another one. He's noticed it as an overshoot as well. Yeah, it's almost like his chart automatically photographs and pops it on the stream. I have to message him and ask him how the hell he does it so quick. I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it. Oh, you mean the way it gets photoed? You can be quick money. Yeah, not me, mate. It takes me about 3 or 4 minutes with screenshots. Yeah, I'll have a look later. I did photograph. I took a quick photo of the couple of ways that people mentioned, but at the moment I do the snipe tool and then save it, and then I got to go into me downloads, and it's a little bit long-winded. You want something quick, don't you? But I will. I'll look at. I took a screenshot of you, or a photo of the comments. So I'll after tonight, I've got a bit of maintenance to do on my PC tonight. I've just noticed how grubby the screen is. So, and I'll also download that bit so I can quickly upload some pictures quickly. Let's have a look at this. So that to me is a little overshoot, and it's funny. Look, we've bounced. Sean, how you doing, my friend? Do you use OBS Studio for you? Yes, I do, mate. I'll bring it in for you now. It look a bit wacky at the moment because it's picturing loads of pictures. But if you look down there, now I'd advise you guys to record your videos. Now, obviously, recording video takes up a little bit of space, not a lot, but you can always download it at the end of the day. But it is useful, one, to look back on your video, to look back on your trades, and two, if anything ever goes funky with your software, you've got video evidence. It's very simple. You go into the settings, there's loads of videos, and set it up, and then just literally click start recording, and it has a separate little OBS folder which it saves it all in. It's actually pretty simple. So you literally just open a scene, and then you select a display, whichever screen, and you just click record. It's actually dead simple. But it is a free bit of software, so it's really useful. So I'd advise you guys to do that, at least that way, if anything does go amiss with your software. It's why I have this on here, and it's why I have these. Why is that such a... It's why I have my orders and positions tab and this. So if anything is stuck there, I've got video evidence, so at least I can say, well, look, you can see I couldn't shut it down and blah, blah, blah. So it just gives you that little bit of protection. And it's free, so it's useful. You're welcome, mate. No overshoot in your opinion. Okay. Yeah, actually, Thomas Wade's just widened it. Apparently, he said, tiny overshoot, if we create a new low, he'll widen it. So if it goes lower, but sometimes it'll go lower and then go like that, but that doesn't really matter. So yeah, he's widened it, so he's got the same opinion as you. So both Thomases have got the same thoughts. So measured legs played out, and it is continuing down. So That's the thing. Sometimes with an overshoot, it'll do that. It'll come back, make a new low, and rocket off in that direction. So let's see what it does. Because with an overshoot, we can get a full-out reversal. Sometimes we'll just get a correction. It'll continue down, wider channel. Other times, it'll have a couple of legs back, make a new low, and then woof. Yeah, so it is worth getting OBS as it's free. Record your trading sessions for the day, and if nothing dramatic happens, no software issues, no glitches, nothing, just delete it. It's dead simple. But it's always good to have the ability to go back and look exactly what happened. If there's a quick move or something goes wrong, that's my advice to you. At least then, you know, if something does go wrong, at least you've got a leg to stand on. Then if you can approach Apex and say, well, look, I recorded it. You can see I did everything I was supposed to. Because sometimes they may say, oh, it's NinjaTrader, or your computer's not quick enough, or this or that. I've heard a few, you know, excuses over time. But to be fair, if it's a widespread issue with Rhythmic, then they're pretty good. I had a problem trading my evaluations. There was 2 of them I had, and they reset them, so they're okay. There is a lot of stuff going around Apex at the moment, but I think a lot of it is nothing major to worry about. I understand people are pissed off about not getting paid. You would be. You know, you may say, well, what, they haven't followed the rules up until now. They haven't enforced the rules, but the trouble is, if you break the rules, you never quite know if they're going to start enforcing them. So, you know, I think if you're trading normally, I don't think you've got nothing to really worry about. And, you know, I know Kellyanne's been calling them out and scammers and stuff like this. I don't think, I don't think you can call them scammers. They're not really. They've just decided to enforce the rules because they're probably getting ripped off left, right, centre. Now I know I have a vested interest with Apex. I have, you know, 19/20 accounts tomorrow, so you know, I have a vested interest. But I don't think they're out to scam anyone. They're just getting, you know, people are. It's like we said before. Every time in life, no matter what field you're in, there are always people going to try and steal from you, rip you off, con you, everything. There's all sorts of different scams and cons, and you've got to stay on your feet, otherwise you succumb to the elements. And I think they've just put their foot down and said, right, from now on, we're following the rules. And if you've been caught in the crossfire, I get you being pissed. I'd be pissed off. But fortunately, you know, I've broken the rules in the past. I've had over $2,000 in one trade before, revenge trade, and they still paid me out. So I consider myself lucky on that term. But I think they're probably copping a bit more of a hard time. But you know, I understand. You know, people want to say stuff, and if they feel hard done by, they want to say, you know, it's fair enough. But all I can say is to you guys, listen to me now. I wouldn't be concerned. I'm not concerned. I've still got my accounts. You know, there's nothing's changed for me. But just stick to the rules, and they've got no excuse, then, have they? I know Kellyanne's been making some video. I find it quite entertaining, but you know, you never quite know the full story. But have you voted on the Apex survey? No, I haven't. What survey? I didn't even know there was one, bud. Voted on a survey. Oh, is this to do with the possible new rules coming in, like no shorter days to pass, no specific dates on? Because I remember listening to some of is it John Skelton's video where he was talking about because normal there's 2 fixed. Right, I didn't realise you could vote on it. I know there's at the moment it's between the 1st of the 5th and the 15th and the 20th of the month. And apparently that was one of the possibilities of them removing, which is good. But I didn't know I could vote. Have a look later. Do I find it on the website? Do I? On their website. I'll have a look at that. That's one thing I'll definitely vote for. because I heard somebody mention in a comment, I forget who it was. It seemed to be someone, now don't hold me again to this, but it seemed to be someone that worked for Apex that said, if you hit your $2,600 and you stop trading up until you get a payment, that holds a red flag. Why? I got no idea. But if there's no specific date, whether someone was just saying that, I don't know. But if there's no specific date, it doesn't matter, does it? You just put your payment in, don't you? They sent out an email with possible changes, some videos. Yeah, I got that email. I watched some of the videos. I didn't realise you could actually vote on it, though. But that's useful. Thanks for that, Cavill. I'll have a look later. Or just Google Survey Apex. I will do. Take a photo of that. I'll have a look at that later. Okay, so do you consider that a channel? Now, normally you'd want 3 touches, wouldn't you? Which technically we haven't really got, have we? But it visually looks okay, so would I want to go short here with the right setup? Yeah, I do like the way Thomas posts something. It's like it automatically snaps his... What was the last one? 1609, 1607, 1605, 1602, 1659, 1653. Yeah, it's almost like that. You can't be doing that manually. Surely there must be a way that it's just automatically snapping a photo. I'm going to have to ask him. It's a shame you can't just hit a button, isn't it, and then drag it in. There probably is a way. In fact, I did take a few photos of some of your comments earlier. I'll have a look. Yes, I'm still not convinced that isn't an overshoot. An overshoot, from what I can remember, you can always press print screen. Paste away. Yeah, I'll have a look later, bud. My only slight concern about that is a lot of the times we'll have a correction, make a new low, and then reverse. So I have to be a bit careful about going short here. Sometimes I think you're best off assuming that it's had an overshoot and it may reverse, so being careful taking a short here. So a little channel with a break. Sort of. So you've noticed that with max things, once it goes out so far, it automatically moves over. Why it does that? I'm assuming it's saying we're out the channel now. I've never heard anybody mention it. Stephen, are you a new face, are you? Have some room still to... Stephen, I think you're a new face. I don't recognise you. Welcome. Where are you from, bud? It is Thomas Sky, our famous Frenchman. I think our only Frenchman, I think. Anybody who's got the confidence and courage to eat snails and frogs' legs is welcome in my stream. Oh, he's a good friend. Excellent. Okay, he's very welcome then. Excellent. Is he another Frenchman? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Stephen and Thomas don't strike me as French names. Typically French names. Mind, I suppose you can say it's slightly slightly with a French accent, can't you, I suppose? Oh, you're from the US, I got you. Okay, most of you guys are, I think. We're kind of surrounded by you guys. He's from the land of the free. I think most of you guys are US. We've got some from all over, actually. We've got Thomas from France. We've got a couple of UK guys in. Let me have a look. Rodian is, I'm pretty sure, is Australia. Maybe New Zealand. I'm pretty sure it's Australia. We've got loads of US guys. Sorry, Dean. I didn't see you up there, mate. How you doing? I didn't notice you up there, Dean. Sorry. We got guys from all over, I think. Guys from all over. Someone from Vietnam pops in from time to time. The land of the free. In fact, you guys got elections as well this year. Someone told me it was in November. I think ours is, it's a month tomorrow, I think. We've either got Keir Starmer or Rusty Bolsack, as I call him, Rishi Sunak. That's a real shame. I'd have loved to have stayed in that range for the day. We'd have had some real options there. A leg and a leg, bullish bar, triple test, worked a treat. Channel break, fade the breakout, worked a treat. Even that one worked. Lower high maybe. So there's actually been some setups today, and just in that one section, I'll be surprised if Mac doesn't put about 20. It's a shame about there really. We don't have a better bar, but 2 legs up. So I'm going to be very careful going short here. Rishi didn't do the full 4 years right. No, he took over from Boris, I believe. Yeah, Boris was under so much pressure to do with all the Partygate during COVID, so yeah, he kind of he resigned in the end. I think he was under a lot of pressure too. Mind you, I mean, we've heard there's all sorts of rumours going around that we may have Boris back and the US may have Trump back. Although Trump's just been found guilty, isn't he? So I don't know whether is he looking at a small stretch. I don't know. Surely he'll avoid prison, I would have thought, wouldn't he? I mean, he's not really a danger to anyone as such, is he? Wait on that second entry short, earlier shame. Yeah, see, the trouble is, normally with a channel like that, you'd be looking at a short. My slight concern is we've had an overshoot. And as we know, overshoot, sometimes you can get a correction, a new low, then a reversal, sometimes a flat-out reversal, sometimes a correction and a continuation. But this, to me, is starting to look like a bit of a bull flag. So just trying to think, there's going to be some shorts in there for certain. So if it pushes above there, we may get 2 legs and then it'll continue down, or it may reverse. So I'm just staying out of this. It is, well, it's not really a second entry, is it? But it's a channel break, 2 pushes up to a new high bearish bar, but surely that's going to get stop date. That to me would be risky as hell. Trouble is, because of that, I know it's only a small overshoot, but maybe a year and a half ago, I got stung on a trade and it was the tiniest overshoot. It was even smaller than that. And Mac pointed out as the likely culprit. Might go up to 5290 off here somewhere. So that would give us a couple of legs, wouldn't it? Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying, it depends what traders see that as, whether they drag that out. I know Thomas Wade's dragged it out a bit. I always like to assume the worst. So if I think it's at a bit of a, see if I keep that tight. So it fits nice there, fits nice there, fits nice there, apart from that. So I think I tend to like to assume it's as an overshoot and not think about the normal course of action after a channel, which is to make an extreme low in this case. and it may not do it because of that. So I'm always wary about going short here. If there was a failure trapping longs, and that's a different story, then I may take that. But I always like to just let things sort themselves out, because I can't tell you over the last few years how many times I've been stung going short here after an overshoot or a possible overshoot. So there's a bearish bar there which is triggered by a tick. Now that may turn up there and stop that out. It's hard to say. But we had same sort of thing earlier, almost like a little bull flag. We had a push up, side was push up, so it's like a mirror image, which, as Stephen said, would take us up to that 52.90 area. So 1, 2, 3. In fact, you could probably call that a triple test, depending on how strong that. But just because of the nature of it, it's congested. I'm staying out. But 1, 2, 3. You could say that's a triple test. See, as we know, price moves towards liquidity. I can't see any more stops above there. If there was any stops there, you'd have probably come to the conclusion that they would have got stopped out. Where's the next natural level of liquidity? Probably here. Maybe here. Leg down, pullback. So I would expect this to more than likely come up to this area here. Or it may just fail and come down. There's always a possibility. But because of that possible overshoot, I'm just staying out of any shorts. Might act as resistance. Yeah. Trouble is, sometimes we get our sort of, from experience, you get your gut feeling, don't you? Which I think for the most is a lot more right. But you also get that feeling of when knowing just after a while when to stay out of it. As I say now, I can look at a setup now and go, I either like it or it doesn't feel right. And if it doesn't feel right, I tend to stay out, and it serves me well, that. And if that is an overshoot, it could reverse. So I'd certainly expect 2 legs with the possibility of coming down to retest. Because even after an overshoot, you can get a sort of a part reversal and then come down. But I just tend to stay out of any shorts after the possible reversal. So Liz Trust. She did, yeah, not for very long though. See, it was a standing joke in the UK. She was in, what was she in for a few weeks, something like that. But she gets full time protection for the rest of her life. That's weird, isn't it? I don't think she had the strength of character, really. I don't know, she just seemed to almost get a little bit not confused, but just lack of confidence. I think she just didn't quite come over as enough of a leader, strong enough leader. I think her thoughts were right, but it's a lot how you come over, isn't it, when you're a leader? You've got to come over very strong and confident, and I think she lost that a little bit. No, I'm not interested at the moment, but either. So you'd expect some liquidity there, wouldn't you? Also, we're at the overnight lows there, so yeah, I think that will be enough. It may come back and bounce and then turn into a channel. That's always a possibility, so that's possible. Same sort of scenario we've had there, really. It's kind of like 2 little legs back with a bullish bar, and it's worked, isn't it? I'd like to see it come back before it pushes higher. See, it could still come down. You could consider that 2 legs, a break, 2 legs, and then slowly up. You know, going back, when I first started this sort of a few years ago, a lot of the times when you had a break, it would move to an extreme straight away. But so many times it'll do this, it'll go a bit sideways, it'll pop out the top, it'll start to dip with a pullback before it eventually makes a new low. So sometimes it goes the long way round until it eventually breaks these lows. So I still have that in mind. So shorts are off the table at the moment, but I'm not sure about longs either, because there is that possibility. I'm sure I heard Thomas Wade saying after an overshoot, it could still correct and come down. So, in fact, I used to work with the Prime Minister's brother-in-law, Theresa May. It was her brother's brother. He used to work at an oil place in Cheshire, and he used to work there. And when he used to get visits, security used to come round and check the house, check the area. So like a few hours before they came to visit. But it's doing that really slow stuff now, is it? What time is it? How long have we been going for? And 55. Okay. I'm going to let it sort itself. I'm just going to take a quick 3 to 5 minute break. I'm just going to make a quick cup of coffee. Where's my break? Where's my break button? Oh, there we go. Okay, just pop that there. So, quick coffee. I'll make it and bring it up. So, 3 to 5 minutes. That one. There we go. Okay, what is going on here? So there is a second entry long there. I'm not getting involved in this at the moment because we've got a leg breaking a new high. We still could come down and test these lows. Whether we will or not, I don't know, but I'm not taking that. I'm not sure about this. That may be a trap. We may come down. There is a possibility, even if there is an overshoot. It may be an overshoot, it may not be. I think there's mixed feelings. Gotta be careful there, I think. Sometimes it'll do that, give you a little semi-okay bar, and if you don't take it, it'll almost give you that follow me, and then it just turns and comes down. Almost like it's sucking in longs. There you go. If you don't jump straight in there, it will give you a little tempter just above. And then all of a sudden it starts to give you that, we're pushing up. You're going to miss out. I've done it so many times, all of a sudden it turns, comes down, stops you out. Whether it will, I don't know, but it's certainly giving me that impression. Upside was new high. We could get a leg and a leg if it's going to go higher or what. But yeah, look. Sucking in longs, I call it. I got me coffee, Stephen. Unfortunately, my Sage machine is being fixed at the moment. I've got a Sage Barista Pro. And I'm drinking this instant crap. And it doesn't quite give you the same boost. So I'll be surprised if that doesn't stop that out. One, it's a bit congested. It has done actually by a tick. And there's just, for me, there's a bit of discrepancy whether that is an overshoot and we're going to reverse or we're going to come down. Milk. In fact, to be honest with you, when my machine's working, I like a latte, I do. So a little espresso followed up with some frothy milk and hopefully a nice fancy little pattern, which I'm not triggered at. Are you truly? I certainly am truly British, yeah. Don't do black coffee in this house. In fact, I don't mind, when I go on holiday sometimes, I don't mind an espresso with just like half a teaspoon of sugar in black. That I don't mind, but I do like a latte. You can't beat that lovely creamy milk on top of a... what's your bar with data series? What's your bar with data series? Are you looking up here, are you, bud? Is that what you need? Let me just move that over. Is that what you need, is it? I'll leave that on there for a minute. This may be two legs and it may still go higher, but I'm just staying out of this at the moment because it's just kind of a... giving me a bit mixed feelings. Your bar is width 2. Yeah, I've also got these adjusted, the spaces. So if you're trying to make them like this, just look back on the video and then just pick a time between a certain time and just check you have roughly the same distance width. It's took me a while to get these. I'm trying to get them to look like Thomas Wade's because when he does his charting, it just looks a little bit more obvious. Don't ask me why, but it just looks a little bit more obvious. And I think it's because he's got them spread out a little bit. Or has he? Let me have a look. Yeah, he has. He's got a little bit more gaps, and it just creates that little bit more separation, I think. So, possible second entry long. But I'm staying out of this because I think it's likely we could come down for a new low. It's possible. It depends. Depends how many traders see that as an overshoot or not. Push up, break new high, multiple. Okay, so by the looks of that, unfortunately, there's no setup there or there really. No, well, there is a lower high, but the bar's naff. And then you try to smooth to navigate. Yeah. I changed my colours as well. I used to have that lime green, but this just, I don't know. Sometimes you're staring at that lime green all day and it fries your brain for some reason. So that's just a little bit more of a subtle colour. That's interesting. So we had that big drop. Hey folks, we're going down finally, and all of a sudden it turned. And then a big strong push. So you have the range going to the top of the bars up here. Yeah, that would work. In fact, let's do it as a proper range. Oh, hello. So, yeah. So, there's pretty much trapped some shorts there. Now, fortunately, if you were trading from our style, Pat style, there's no setup there and it never triggered. But, yeah, we push up. And it does give you that impression that we're probably going to make a new... So as this pushed out here, there'll about have been some shorts dropping their orders in there, thinking we're going to push down now to these bottoms. All of a sudden it went right above all this, any possible stops taken out. There's nothing I'd have taken there, to be honest with you. The only one you may have had a go at is... no, that it's not very good there. There is a lower high there, but... we're close to these lows here, aren't we? So there's nothing you'd have taken there really, but I'm sure there probably was some. And it does do that sometimes, drops out, nice drop, strong drop like this, and people think, here we go. Now down to make a new low, and all of a sudden turns, pushes up. Can't see many shorts in there, but I bet some will have taken that as a lower high, thinking new low, but I've gotten wise to stuff like that. I've taken stuff like that in the past and they've stitched me up, so I tend to just wait a bit. He has three, probably does. I wish, don't get me wrong, I think Mac's an absolute gentleman. The small amount of money that he's taken from my pocket to help me trade is that small, it's insignificant. $125 per year. It's an absolute joke almost, isn't it? He doesn't do it for the money. He's as good as gold. He puts these videos out for the last 13 years. He's as good as gold. As far as I'm concerned, he's as far away as a rip-off merchant as you can be. He's a lovely guy. I just wish he'd open up a little bit more about these trades. Because the trouble is, if he's marking 10 high-probability trades, a lot of newer guys are going to go, why am I not taking 10 a day? Do you know what I mean? And sometimes it does make you think that there's a lot more out there, but in real time, these setups don't look half as good. When we know they clearly worked, you can't unsee that move down. So if there was a setup here that you weren't sure at the time, all of a sudden it looks a lot better when we know that price moved down. So I wish he'd just open up a little bit more, but that's my only slight little gripe. But yeah, I wish he'd just open up a bit more about, you may have got caught out here, don't take this because of this, and you know, other sort of words to that effect. I'm still not convinced it's not going to come down yet. That move down, reach the second tier channel. Yeah. See, leg up, leg up. In fact, that could even be a correction. So it is possible we could come down some more. So that looks to me like a possible correction. So if we take that from there to there, or no. Leg up, leg up. You're probably going to say, yeah, see, I'm still not convinced this is not going to come down. It does look like a bit of a correction. A leg, and a leg. We've come up to this level here. You can see that there is, let's just bring that down a bit. Yeah, you can see we've got a touch here and a couple of touches there. There's a little bit of support there, and I'm pretty sure if I drag that left, it may fit with something. Yeah. Touch, a touch, a touch, a touch. So that would make sense. That there is. See, there may even be something like this. There may be a larger, may turn into a larger range at the time. But usually when it does this, and a couple of legs and a bit of sideways, it continues down. So that looks like 2 legs from a penguin point of view. So I wouldn't be surprised if penguin takes something there on a limit order to get out before the lows comfortably. Let's see if this makes it. Let's see, because that to me, we've come off the tops. 1, 2, 3, we come off the tops. And that's a strong push down. Yeah, we're not even getting a chance for a pullback here. But that to me looks like 2 legs up, like a penguin style trade. So let's call it 1 leg and 2 legs. The second leg's not as big, but you get the idea. Leg and a leg. Strong push down. In a lot of cases, he'll catch it on a limit order. And I would say his limit order would be probably somewhere around about here. And it would be out there. Not quite yet, maybe, but it's clear 2 attempts to push. 2 attempts to push up. And on that second attempt, I wouldn't call that first. That to me is the first. 2 legs back, and on the second attempt, came down, pushed strongly through the EMA and straight down. So I wouldn't be surprised you have a little bit of a pullback. So he may, he may get in there. Okay, so he'd be potentially in that trade now. So that's 20 ticks. So let's drag that across, put it back to 20. So he'd be in that trade now if he took on a limit order. It didn't get down to the bottom. So I would expect that to work. Leg down with a pullback. See, 2 clear. 2 clear attempts to push higher. Strong push below the EMA. So for me, that's going to break below there and quite likely the bottom. Nothing on the CL at the moment. It's just going a little bit sideways. It definitely seems to be a better day today. There's a lot more volume straight away. Where was the open? Here. So a little bit more volume than normal. So we do seem to be getting some movements through today, which is encouraging. So I still expect that to come down below here. It's really struggling to get above the EMA. Yeah, it is. Channel down. Well, that's an overshoot. I think it's irrelevant now. I think it's likely we are going to break the lows. We're struggling to get above the EMA. There's probably going to be some liquidity there, quite likely down the bottoms. But it kind of looks like a leg and a correction, so we could even get another leg. Does look like a correction. 2 legs back and another attempt, followed by a strong push through the EMA. I mean, it has broken below there, but I think that's likely to break below these, break at the bottom, I think, which is there. But that for me would be a penguin style trade. 2 attempts higher, failure, strong push below the EMA and a pullback. I think that's coming down, a leg and a leg. Take us below these lows and comfortably pick off 20 ticks there. There's a lower high on that end, on the CL. My only slight concern is if this is a channel, we're touching nice at the bottom and we've come away a little bit, which tells me we've got a loss of momentum. So if we've had a loss of momentum, I would expect a break from this channel. So that to me would be a natural trap. Well, now whether it does or not, I don't know. But I haven't been focused on this chart as well as I should have done. So is that going to come down low? It may do, but for me, I wouldn't touch that. Doesn't Thomas Wade call that a double bar entry? Leg back, double bar entry? Not Tom, yeah, Thomas Wade, sorry. So another tick or so to push below there, because there's going to be some liquidity there, surely. Yes, I do, mate. Yeah, you get access to all his videos. He doesn't stream, but he does. He seems to put a video on literally every 3 minutes. So he's got one on at 1646. He's got one at 1641, 1640, 1636, 1633. 1617. So literally every 3 to 5 minutes he's posting a new chart, so you can pretty much keep up with. So maybe explains a double bar entry. That's a good point. I haven't had a look, but I will do over the weekend. I'll go through it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he calls something like that a double bar entry when it's just a little bit below. The thing I like about Wade is he's very specialised on trendline rules. Yeah, he is, isn't he? He just says that a lot, doesn't he, according to trendline rules. Yeah, he almost makes them sound really convincing. I know they pretty much do follow certain things, but he does make them certainly sound convincing. Now, from what I can see here, I think the chance of it breaking these lows are very high. We have got a little double bounce there. But I would expect that to drop below. So a leg down, leg down. We just may get another little pullback here. Could even be like a small little channel there, which is what it's sort of feeling its way back to. But it's bounced twice off that price. Now, he wouldn't have got filled on the first time. He'd have got filled on the second time. Now, usually, if it does move, he puts a limit order back here somewhere. So whether he'll have got filled on here, but I think he'll have expected that to come down to the lows anyway. So let's just see if that one would have worked. It is just something I do tend to watch for his style of setups, because you do have a little bit more time to think. Whereas with Pat's, you know, often the decision's made in the last second or two, where you can wait for that to pull back and drop an order in there ready. You don't necessarily have to wait for a signal bar as such. But I think one of the first things that got me to watching Thomas Way is the fact that he posts his losses. I'd not seen many people do that. And you sort of... He play a little bit that he recorded him live, and you can kind of hear the change in his voice. And I like that. Sometimes it's nice to see what you consider as good experienced traders, that little sort of vulnerable side to them. Because none of us like losing, do we? We don't like losing trades, but it doesn't affect me the way it used to. But it's taken time. I used to revenge trade. I don't now, but I still don't like the feeling. But I think I've read somewhere trading's about being comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. But I'm pretty sure with experience, if you've been trading for years and making regular money, I don't think it has much of a bearing, or I like to hope it doesn't. That just doesn't lose, does he? Mind you, from what I've gathered through 3 years of experience trading, Pats, is you can get extremely good at reading charts. So I know how long Mac's been trading, so I'd expect him to be incredibly competent. And I would say he doesn't lose many. You would expect Mac to be well up in the late 90s, wouldn't you? I don't think he loses many. There is a second entry short there, but we are built second entry short there. I do think it's going to come down there, but that bar to me is a little bit weak. I would prefer it to come up a little bit higher, but also there is a bit. I still think it worked. There is some support along there, but it's funny, really, that profit. If you're a penguin trader, that profit is sat right on the lows, really. So it would have to break below there to 1, trigger your profit, and to 2, stop out that bar. And if you stop out that bar, that will give you some momentum. But that trade to me looks a bit weak. And I think that's why, that's followed up and took out that short. It's a weak trade because it's into the lows. I still think it's likely we're going to come down, but often it'll do that. It'll shoot up, take out a weak position, and then continue down. It's liquidity which is close. So we've got a leg down, 1, 2. It's almost like a triple test, or 2 clear legs to go up. And for me, this is going to come down. So that lower high on the CL worked, although I didn't like the way it was sitting there, because initially I had that. So if I remove that, it looks a bit better actually. It's not really a second entry short because, but it is kind of a lower high. But what I don't like is if this is a channel, it fits so nice there. Whenever it starts to come away from the bottom, for me, it's losing momentum, and often we'll have a break, which is why I didn't take a short there, because if we do decide to have a break, although that bar's gone down quite far, if it would have been up here, it could trigger and have another leg. So, as I say, I wait for what I consider to be a solid setup. Oh, look at that. A solid setup, and then just go with it. Let's see what happens here then. So if there was anything there, that may... Let's have a look. So down 1, 2 attempts to go out. It's a tempting short, that is. Let me get rid of this thing anyway. Let's get rid of that. It's a very tempting short, that. I kind of hope it doesn't finish good. Yeah, I'm glad it didn't finish good. Sometimes I like it to take the decision away from me. Try it with a sim account, yeah. To be honest with you, now it's bouncing off here. Short wouldn't be my first option. It would be to trigger a short and to push up here. Free trade copies. Sorry, mate, I didn't see it. There isn't, unfortunately. There is with a piece of software or a platform called Quantower, but you've got two options with here. You've got the Apex's one, or you've got Replicanto. My choice is Replicanto, as you can see here. And I like the fact that I've got half my accounts on this on the EES and half my accounts on the CL. And I've been using this for, it's got to be 12 months now, and it's just been flawless in all fairness. If you are interested, I have got a discount code, but there is Apex's one. Now, the first one Apex used, I bought it maybe a year and a half ago and just had problems with it, so I stopped using it. But they have updated it, so I can't speak to how good it is or not, but I think most traders I know use Replicanto. They're a software company that specialise in trading software, and I'd say you get regular updates. Sometimes you'll get 2 in a couple of days. Second entry, short. And about here, yeah, the bar's not brilliant for me. See, after that leg down, it is 2 attempts higher, but that just, your bar might be slightly different. Free copy for Ninja Trader. It's simple, but it's free. Is there? Not that I'm aware of. Maybe there is. I've not heard of it. My bar looks pretty good. Yeah, sometimes they do. Well, you've got it in there, Stephen. Good on you, mate. But it is the type of area that you'd look to go short, wouldn't you? A couple of attempts higher. But yeah, it's a bit more of a sort of a neutrally bar, isn't it? No, I was unaware of that there is one for. The trouble is, if you use something that might be a bit inferior, yeah, you just don't know, do you? Trouble is, if it messes up once, it can cost you a bit. But the only ones I'm aware of is the Replicanto one and the Apex one. The Apex one I can't comment. The initial one, Kevin, Apex mentioned Flowbox Replicanto was helping scammers to scam Apex. Oh, did they? Did I hear a rumour? What was it? You can find it on their ad on my. Okay, have a look. So apparently there may be one for. They actually did not. Did they really? Didn't they say to someone, "Here's a way of covering up your trades that Apex can't see"? It is a bit cheeky doing that. I mean, obviously they're a separate entity to Apex, aren't they? But yeah, it's not what you would consider professional behaviour, really, is it? Yeah, it does. I mean, don't get me wrong, the software works flawlessly, and that's what I'm interested in, considering they have their own. Yeah, it's not what you would consider professional behaviour from a company, really, would it? You have Replicanto. Yeah, to be honest with you, the politics just doesn't interest me. The software works well, so you know what they get up to, Apex and Flowbots behind closed doors is their business, really. But yeah, it doesn't sound like professional behaviour, really, does it? I think Apex, in all fairness, have probably copped a hard time during all this. They've started enforcing the rules. The rules were out there. If people chose to break them, it's all good and well where they're not enforcing them, but you never quite know when they're going to. And as we know in life, your car insurance would be a damn sight cheaper if there weren't people trying to scam the insurance. Your home insurance would be cheaper if people weren't, breaking something and deciding to sign up for home insurance and making a claim. Food in the supermarket would be cheaper if we didn't need security guards and electronic tags and all the stuff to stop people. There's scammers in every walk of life. There's always people to try and rip you off. So it sounds to me like they've obviously got a lot of people trying to take liberties. But since they started enforcing the rules, unfortunately for people who've broken them, they're getting stung. And don't get me wrong. If I'd have lost my money, I wouldn't be very happy. But they've started sort of, maybe what they should have said is, okay, from the beginning of June, we are enforcing rules if you choose to break any of the rules, we will enforce them. So a little bit of heads up may have been a better option, just to do it straight away and to say, right, we're doing this. Because if you've been trying, I mean, what's it got stuck, didn't he? What's his name? Trays by Matt, he had a $40,000 payment denied. Now, I believe if as long as he doesn't break the rules, he can withdraw the same payment next month. So it's not the end of the world. But I think probably Apex may have had a little bit less stick if they'd have said, okay, from the 1st of June, you must follow the rules, blah, 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 blah. He did, yeah. Yeah, he had a $40,000 stopped, which I'm kind of glad he did because, you know, obviously he's a streamer. He brings a lot of business to Apex, and it's kind of know that they're not targeting anyone specific. Doesn't matter who you are. But, you know, he can, as long as he follows the rules, he can still withdraw. So he's not going to lose anything. He just got to wait an extra month. And by the sounds of things, he gets paid pretty well. So I don't think it's the end of the world. DCA dollar cost averaging. I've not heard of it in trading before. I've heard of it with crypto, buying crypto. But as a Pats trader, me specifically, my trading style is about as straightforward and as simple and as by the book as you can get, really. It's 2.5 to 3 point risk for a 2.5 point profit. You know, it doesn't really get any more straightforward. There's no extra entries, or there's no massive stops for small entries. But I think Apex probably would have been, they'd have probably had a lot less of a backlash if they'd have said from the beginning of September, if you break a rule, we may decide to stop your payment. So it would have been better to give people a notice really. Because I know what's it's given a hard time, Kellyanne, and they probably had a backlash with comments and complaints and stuff. But you know, we live and learn, don't we? But they've had a bit of an hard time, and I you know, if I had anything against them, I wouldn't use them. But I'm quite happy that the way I'm trading, it's not going to affect me. But if you have lost money, I get you're going to be cheesed off about it. Stops are always there, steady trades, yeah. Yeah, if you're a Pats trader, I barely even looked at the rules because I just know that, my trading style is pretty boring and bog standard as you can get, really. That's because, absolutely. I think in all honesty, it says you can't dollar cost average in the rules. Now, I see both sides to it. I don't want to pick a side because if I'd lost money, I'd be pissed off about it. I really would be. But it's like all of a sudden, if they started taking the speed cameras down, it doesn't mean you can speed all of a sudden. So you still have to follow the rules. And if they are getting ripped off, which they're bound to be, at some point they're going to say, the supermarkets, people stealing, they're losing millions. So they've forced to crack down. So they've got to put these electronic things on the barcodes, and they have those things where you walk out the door, the buzzers, and you've got security guards. So they're forced to do things like that because there are people who break the rules. So I just think it would be better if they'd have said from this date onwards, blah blah blah. But the trouble is, if they got the rules there, then they can enforce them anytime they like, and really there's nothing people can do. But yeah, if you are a genuine trader, you've got nothing to worry about. You really haven't. If you're trying to go for massive gains, trying to go for a bit for lucky and trying to get away with it, which I have in the past, and gotten away with it, and they're just cracking down on that. So I think they've just had a bit of an hard time lately. I think Kellyanne's crucified him a bit. But, there's always two sides to a story, isn't there? But yeah, if you're a normal trader, you don't need to worry about it. They have a video about how they are handling the DCA. I think it's pretty fair. Yeah, I think if you look at things from a fairness side, John, and you haven't lost money, I think you come to the conclusion that there are the rules there. If you break them, there is a possibility they may start enforcing them, and they have done. And I understand if you've lost money. you know, I'd be a bit peed off about it. But what can you do? You know, they've got it in black and white there, the rules. So all I'll say is, if you have done any of these, you know, any of these types of strategies that include certain ways, I just lose them from now on. But it would have been nice for people, you know, just to give people a little bit of a warning. What is going on here? So, leg. I still think we're going to break these lows. It's just the way the market's acting at the moment. For me, we're coming down now. Whether it's from here or not, I wouldn't like to say, but from what I'm gathering here, it's losing momentum. The momentum up. Now, there may be some stops there which are still intact, and also there. So if that breaks below there, the next target of liquidity is down here. It looks like it's going to, doesn't it? Kind of looks like a leg with a couple of legs up and a leg. Whether it'll get down at the bottom or not, I'm not sure, because that is a little bit more than a measured leg. Yeah, it's quite clear, isn't it? Leg down, 1, 2, 3. It's also a triple test, although the bar's naff. If you get below there, we'll take out any possible stops there. Once we get a few ticks below them, I'm guessing. Okay, so a tick below there. So I unless that reverses completely, which it may, I think we'll come down some more there. So it does look like a leg. This may be in a channel. You could say there's a touch and a touch there. We're losing momentum, so we've got 2 attempts to go higher and then down for some more. An hour and a half for not knowing. We're going to reach... Yeah. Yeah, the trouble is, now on Thomas Wade's chart, he's pulled that out. Sorry, he's pulled that out. But I have heard him say before, even with an overshoot, a lot of the time it'll still make a new low. So if I'm not sure, from my point of view, I think I assume the worst. Because the trouble is, if you get into a shorty and it traps you and goes up, why didn't it work? The answer is because there was likely an overshoot. So I always try and assume the worst and assume that it may not come down. Sometimes it'll make an effort to come down. I mean, there's the... it may touch that and reverse. Sometimes if you hold on for this, sometimes it doesn't make it, but... you just never know. It's a possible second entry long. I just wouldn't trade here at the moment because it could fade to breakout. It may trigger and come down some more. Got 7 points. Oh, some. And you must make some money. Went for the second leg down. That there, did you? Yeah. We've actually got it now, haven't we? Just for me, personally, no signal bar, although I like what I'm seeing. Leg down, 2 attempts ago. I mean, you could even say a triple test, but it's 2 clear attempts to push up. Okay, we got a double bottom there. I'd like to see that broken. It may not. The body may... Often with these measured moves, it breaks below it but doesn't close. See, there is a possibility, a bit of a correction. There may be another leg down, another big leg down. Morning to you, my friend. How you doing? Did you catch the earlier short at 53.04? 53.04 here. 53.04, that one there. 3. Are you talking about that one, are you, bud? Or one of these? 53.04. 04's here, isn't it? Not sure which one you mean there. You're about that lower high there. That's about right, isn't it? It's not far off. 7:30 Pacific. I haven't got 7:30 Pacific down here, mate. 7:30 Pacific. It's about 8 hours behind us, isn't it? 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 3:30. So that'd be about around about 3:30 UK time. So it's about here. Or is Pacific? Pacific's West Coast, isn't it? So it's 8 hours behind us. So it would be 3:30. The only ones I could say you may is that one. No other shorts I can see. Kind of 2 legs up, but there was no button for a short there for me. I'm not sure what you mean, but it may have been that one, but not sure. West Coast, 10:30 Eastern. 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, yeah, 3:30. So it'd have been around about here, wouldn't it? Did you say second entry short? A short. So the only one I could think of is that one there, yeah? A short. I wouldn't have taken that. Because at the time, I thought, and I'll tell you the reason why, because it was such a nice fitting range. We come off the bottom, and I expected this to push up to the top. So I wouldn't have traded this. I wouldn't have gone short there. I wouldn't have necessarily gone long there either. I didn't. I left it alone. But my thoughts were, a couple of legs back, we were going to push high, and that may have been a short trap. So, yeah, I didn't think it. I didn't take it, mate, or look at it. You never quite know it's going to do that. But although you may have thought, well, we're making a bunch of attempts to go higher, but you never quite know. So no. It's not something I left, so that's interesting. So we've had a matching low and a little double bottom with a big strong push up, which is triggered. So measured moves played out. Is there a larger channel? Tough on that, not sure. Let's see if we're making another effort. Oh, yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure at the time. Oh, look at that, beautiful. Played out perfect. So, regardless of whether you think that was, let's put it as a no-no. I always like to just assume it is, and it just keeps me out of automatically thinking we're going to go lower, but it did. It did what it was supposed to. So let me just see if there's anything larger working here. There may possibly be. So right from there, touch. That's a possibility. Another thing that makes me think it's possible, because look at that. Touch and a touch. So that looks like a leg down. I have mentioned that there is quite likely a correction there, so I think there's a good chance we could come down for a second leg. Now that's a bit of a steep dive there, so I'd like to see a pullback at some point. So it's just a shame that wasn't a bearish bar with 2 legs up like that. It's very similar to that setup there. Leg down, 2 attempts to go high, failed, break out the range. Little range there. We're coming down, still in the channel, 2 attempts to go higher, break out the range, but no bearish bar there, but it's certainly career on down. So judging by this, we may get down for that second leg. That's a strong push there, but we've got to get back here really, unfortunately. No clear setup. No, there wasn't really, was there? I'm quite pleased today because I've actually got a trade. And you guys know I've been dry for a couple of weeks. I think I've taken 2 trades in 2.5 weeks. Sometimes if you get out of the hang of taking trades, it's quite hard to get your way back in, I think. But at least I took a trade which worked perfectly and some. That's the one I took there. Second entry long. I lost my confidence and took a 1.25, but it clearly went for more. So if you took it a tick above there, it actually went up for nearly 4.75 points. So in an ideal world, I'd want to get 2.5 points there, which is it comfortably did. But for me, the reason I started losing my confidence is one, because I've had a dry spell, and two, we seem to be struggling here. So I'm thinking that we got three little pushes up and we're struggling. I think at the time, had we hit the measured leg? I don't think we had. No, so there's still plenty of room in the measured leg. I think it's likely going to get up here, but I got something anyway, so I'm pleased I got something. Sometimes it takes a little bit of confidence and self-belief to get back. Well, if you look at some of the top athletes in the world, let's take tennis, people like Andy Murray, a guy who's been playing it since he was wearing nappies and short trousers, and he's been playing all his adult life at probably the top 5 player in the world at some point, maybe the number 1 at some point. They still have psychology coaches, don't they? Because once things start to get into your head, it's very hard to get yourself lifted, isn't it? So for me, I think that's likely a channel. We've got a touch, a touch, a touch, and a touch. 2 nice touches at the bottom. So that for me is a channel. Let me do this snipe thing and post this, see if anybody else has put that. I'll have to find an easy way of doing it. Snipe tool. No. Save as. Save. How do I get it into the thing? So I got to go into. Yeah, this is a long-winded way of doing it. Yeah. This is trading. 1, 2, 3. That one there. I like the fact we're reaching the bottom here. That's encouraging. Yeah, it's a shame about that. That would have, if that was a nice bearish bar, especially with 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. I've got no idea what this CL chart's doing. Let's clean up a bit. There may be something there. Maybe touch. Quite a rejection off there, so there may be something slightly larger there. Big push down, and then often it does that after a steep push down, something a little bit less dramatic. So we got kind of a leg with a break in a leg. Break new high, strong push down from here. 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. Just not a fan of how far it's come down here, but lower high there maybe. Keep an eye on that. I'd like to see that bearish bar there trigger and then start to move up. So we got a channel with a break. A lot of Havana, how you doing? How you doing? A lot of previous support and resistance here. If we break up, it'd be good to trade up. But, God, where was that move? Must have missed that. He had been done by then. Look at that. Lovely little small bars. Ooh, big indication of a really strong trend. Was there any setups? Maybe. Shame it didn't stay there. That was building up to be a really nice trend range. Yellow. Where are you? .19. Oh, you made me sick, mate. I'm going to ban you. Congratulations, mate. I hate giving you compliments. Because you get way more points than all of us put together. We're going to have a stern word, me. Good on you, mate. So you went in, didn't you? Go up here somewhere, you know, I think. Yeah, it does look like a... looks like a push-up. It's like a correction, isn't it? 2 legs back and another attempt. Push down, a little bit of sideways, a little fake out, and then down. Good on you, mate. You keep pushing lower, but I'm thinking of drawing a brand new downtrend. A brand new one. See, to me, touch, 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 pretty perfectly. Touch, touch, and look where that is now. As long as it holds there. The real question is, why stop now? Yes, yes, good point, Osam. You coward. Why did you get out of here? You should have waited to get down. Oh, he's only sent me a photo now just to rub my nose in it. Let me have a look. We'll have a vote in a minute. He wants to get rid of him. Congratulations on the dry spell break. Thank you, mate. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that, mate. I'm assuming it was targeted at me. Yeah, so you got in... How did you get in? Oh, you got in... What chart are you looking at there, bud? Your chart's different than mine, isn't it? I was trying to find out where you got in. Something like that. Oh, look at that. Right, so that measured me, by the way. It's been pretty difficult the last couple of weeks. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. It's been scaring me a bit. I've worked my ass off over the last 3 weeks to get to 20 accounts, and as soon as I get here, the trades all but disappear. I did on the first day. Oh, I got you. Yeah, it is frustrating. You work so hard to get somewhere, and all of a sudden, the time I actually start to get some proper success and some accounts built, bloody setups almost but disappear. It has been hard, yeah. I mean, I do from when I started. We have had dry spells, not quite as bad as this, but I'm pleased I've added on this CL chart as an extra chart, so at least I'm doubling my chance of previous open here. Excuse me a sec. I've got another photo to rub my nose in it. So look, could possibly play out as well. I'm not sure what chart you're looking at here, bud. The reason I took it. took profit there as it could have bounced. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, there's so much more going on, isn't there? Okay, yeah. This is the picture. You're on the 40k chart. Yeah, I see. Yeah, so you entered up here then, didn't you? In fact, to me, I think that it's a shame, really, that wasn't a better bar, because after this push down, you could call that a little push up, a smaller channel push up. It's like a triple test, but to me, if you say that's the channel, 2 clear attempts, if you're looking at that, that's the 4th touch there. It's a shame it wasn't bearish, but you know, like some traders will trade at the area they think it's going to turn, not necessarily what a certain bar is. There is an overshoot, yeah, what a certain bar is. So there's probably going to be some shorts there, and the way it came down with a pullback and then a drop, it makes perfect sense to get in here, doesn't it? A leg. So we've not quite had that measured move, or have we? Let me have a look. Could probably take that down a little touch more. That's looking okay. So we're a couple of ticks off it, I think, which is negligible, I think. But yeah, if you believe in that channel, which I kind of do, then that's an overshoot. Thanks for them, Awesome. Steve, you're not in Thomas Wade's overshoot. Overshoot. You're not in Thomas Wade's Discord, bud, are you? It's right. I can see a picture of your little icon and what looks like someone who looks like you. No, you're not. Yeah, see what I mean? If I bring it in, can you see? That's very much like your icon, isn't it? I just thought, that's all. It just looks like your little picture there. Sorry if I've insulted you. He's nowhere near as good looking as you, of course. So there you. But yeah, just looked like you a little bit there. Just Max, okay. Yeah, I was in Max for a couple of years. I did a year, then had half a year off, then I did another year. I think it's good sometimes to go back and just ball with a bit. It's supposed to be the ideal figure of a man, isn't it? No hair and a beard. A lot of bald people with glasses and a beard, yeah. Once you're at a certain age as well, I suppose. Yeah, I'm 55 this month, I am. But a young 55, I must say. I love me Gorilla style. And you all adhere to it religiously. So what the hell do we do here? I'd like to see a second entry short, which triggers and stops out. Now, I wouldn't take a trade here. I don't think there's a larger channel working down. Just doesn't look quite right to me. There's always a possibility it could come down, but to me, this is right at the very bottom and there's an overshoot. So if there was a short, second entry short there, one, it's a bit too far from the EMA, and two, I would have suggested that it would more likely get stopped out. So there's a reason for me not to take a trade there if we get bearish bar. Now that's me personally. You might have a quite different. See, it is pretty bearish. If it triggers, you may have quite a different thought process there, and it could come down. But for me, one, it's too far from that EMA, although it is pretty bearish, and two, there's an overshoot. So I would expect when I ever get an overshoot, I always avoid going short again until it either corrects, or sometimes it'll just work to the other side and have a small drop out there. So I always avoid this. Doesn't mean it can't come down, but for me, it's a risky trade, that, so it's a no-no for me. Also, it's a third entry. Yeah, it is actually. There's the second entry, which has already been stopped out. I didn't see that. So yeah, although it's visually two legs, isn't it? But that, in fact, that one worked, and you wouldn't expect that to work that far from the EMA and after an overshoot. But sometimes we will pull back a bit, come down, make an attempt before we push. But some might not have it as an overshoot. Looks like an overshoot to me. So, well, you never quite know is You know, there's always a possibility it could be just a couple of legs, and also we're down close to this leg, so there's always a possibility that overshoot. Yeah, it looks like an overshoot to me. I think if you think it's an overshoot, I think you're always safer to assume it is, and it does stop you from making a potential mistake. But that to me, it's clearly two little legs, but it's just one is too far from the EMA for me, even if we didn't have the overshoot. But I heard Thomas Wade say if it does come down and make a new low, then what he does is extends the bottom. So I've not come across that thought process before, but he's a way more experienced trader than me. So if he thinks that's the way it is, then that's good enough for me. So funny how we've just touched there, isn't it? So this is looking more and more like congestion anywhere now. Would you have got anything? So you wouldn't have quite got 2 points there, but if you'd have gone for 6 ticks, it would have had to push through. You got that, but to me, it's risky. It's gonna, yeah. I mean, it would have stopped you out there. It came down more than I thought it might do, because it does look like two little legs, and often it'll just trap some traders and then push up. But it went a little bit more than I thought it would. That ATR's crept up a little bit. So if it does continue to break these lows, then apparently Thomas Wade says he extends it. And that is close. Sometimes it will do that and then rock it up in the other direction. So, okay, so that measured legs played out perfectly. And we've broken the lows. A lot of times the legs do work. Think about high probability, yeah. I mean, it may have had to go down because there was kind of two legs. So, as we know, market likes to move in two. So, there's probably going to be some traders thinking, let me go 2 legs up. It's risky buying here at the moment. Would you want to buy there? Probably. Well, I don't know. Maybe because of the overshoot, but there is a couple of legs, so it's probably why it did work for a bit. But it is risky. I mean, even if it was in the channel, I wouldn't have taken that because it's a million miles from the EMA for me. But it doesn't mean it can't work sometimes. So if this continues down, according to Thomas Wade, we can extend it, and we have made a new low. So let's see what happens now. So I've extended it to the bottom. Let's see if it bounces. If it bounces here and pushes up. Trouble is, you then assume this is a reversal. Okay, so that CL is working like a larger channel. I was looking for a lower high here. That's not a really lower high. It's just a little break from a channel. Although we had a channel with a break and a new high, and we dropped. Once we had that big drop, I think that's clear that we're likely to come down. My only slight concern here is, depends on, do you draw it from here, here, or here? So very steep trend and not so steep, which often happens. It's a shame. I wish they'd taken that one. I think that's a pretty nifty little trade. That big strong push up. You're gonna have traders jumping all over that to go long, and then it triggered, came down. I'd still have a go short there because if that was a strong enough bar, it wouldn't have triggered and come down 2/3 of the way. So that's a trade I would have taken for sure. Plus it's 3 attempts, isn't it? It's almost like a triple test higher, and then it worked. After Friday's big push, it's good correction back down. Yeah, agreed. And it has given us some opportunities as well, hasn't it? It's moving quite fluently. It's actually moving quite nicely. It's quite nice. It's relatively easy to read. That was working nice. It's in all the right places, isn't it? And same at the top, nicely there. That's a trade I wish I'd have taken again. Nice triple test, fade in the breakout. We've made a little double top there after the channel, so that is a trade that I would have taken. For some reason, I was talking about something else at the time. I never stayed that late. It was a good time though. I may wrap it up today. Yeah, I mean, I usually do about 3 hours. What am I up to today? How long have we been going today? Oh, over 3 hours. The day's gone quite quick, actually. I just generally do about 3 hours, I do. But the market's moving quite well today. So we've come lower there after that. So maybe this is an overshoot. I don't know. Is the thing just dropping? Let's leave it there for now. Yeah, the day's gone quite quick, so at least I'm up just under $1,200 on my accounts, which is better than it's been lately. I've had a real dry spell, and you can feel like you're almost not scared to take a trade, but you want to make sure your next trade is a good one, and you can just hold back. But there has been some good setups today. That's one of them, I think. Nice second entry, worked perfectly. That one I liked. And that one, I see those a lot. I know people like Joke take those, and Marco and Daniel tend to take those. We've got a nice channel down, 2 clear pushes up, fade in the breakout. So I think that was a nice trade, that. But because I was up, I was a little bit hesitant to take it, so I was holding for the lower high. Trouble is, we didn't get one. And you want the lower high really sort of ideally closing just below that EMA, so at least you can at least ride it to the bottom. But market's moving quite freely. It's not there's little congestion or a little bit, but it's quite easily readable. But very little congestion. Nice sweeping channel down, couple of legs, a couple more attempts, and then down again. It's ticking all the right boxes. It's quite readable today. It's definitely one of the best trading days we've had for a while, in my opinion. Yeah, exactly. I think my last trade was a loss, actually. And I think after a loss, it's more important to wait for a good setup, because trouble is, while we're making winning trades, it was maybe a couple of 2.5 months ago, I had 14 winning trades in a row. Felt really good about it. Everything's won, and then you have a loss, and then a couple of days later you have a loss, and then it does tend to mess with that psychology a little bit. But I think after a loss it's important to be, because, depending on how long you've been trading and how you're finding the psychological side, a second loss after a first one, the odds jump up of you losing again. So sometimes you're better off having a little break, an hour or two or a day, and then wait for a good setup. And I think it's important to jump straight back in and get on a good trade. And if you can get on a nice winning trade, it tends to give you that little bit of lift, because we all know losses are part of the game. But I don't know your guys' level. I've been doing this 3.5 years, so for me, I still don't like taking them, but I know they are part of it. Yeah, see, Thomas Wade hasn't got that drawn as a larger channel. Although it's touching there and there, it's touching once, twice, 3 times. For me, it is. But I absolutely respect. Not everybody thinks the same way as me. Maybe he'll change it. Maybe he'll watch my stream and change it. You never know. Be interesting to see how long he trades for, because I have thought about having because it's, what time is it? It's just 20 to 6 in the UK. So I have thought about taking an hour off for my dinner and then coming back for an hour and a half. I just wish Mac talks about price for. Yeah, I wish he'd open up a little bit more and go into the possible trades that you may have taken that didn't work and reasons for not taking them. I wish he would open up a little bit. Maybe he will in time. But there you go. So maybe it is a. Let's make that a different colour. Maybe it is. There is a. So it could be a leg size of the leg, but for me, once, twice. In fact, I can even tighten that up a bit. Once. Actually, that's the high after all this. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Looks okay to me. Measured moves played out. So you still may call that a. Anyway. I think, folks, I am probably done for the day. I usually do about 3 hours, and I'm up a trade today, so I'm quite pleased about that. Although it's a smaller one, but it's a trade nonetheless. So that should give me a little bit of a lift. I've got a new bottle of whiskey downstairs. In fact, I've got a bottle of bourbon. Buffalo and something or other. The shelf with a single malt at my local supermarket was a bit bare today, so I thought I'd have a crack at a bottle of bourbon. I haven't had a bottle of bourbon. Woodford Preserve was the last one I had, which was a fair few years ago. Trouble is with bourbon, it's a little bit sweet for me, but I had a tiny sip of that earlier. It is a bit sweet, but it's manageable. So, look, I'm going to leave it there, folks. So, have a good day. If you're carrying on trading, best of luck. I think if you sit here long enough today, you're going to get something because the market's moving quite freely. But I'm up green today, so I'm really pleased. I've got out of that dry spell finally, which happens, so I want to go away. I want to finish on a high today. I'm up under the series. What is your number of days to load? I know Mac usually has it at 21. I will tell you now. I think I have about 5 to 7. I've got 7 days personally. I don't know whether loading that many days sucks up, takes away any potential speed of execution. I don't know really, but I don't know whether do you really need that many days. I have 7. Sometimes I like to have a little bit of a browse, but Mac rarely talks about what happened yesterday. Much better to have any more than 3, is it really? So I might change mine to 5. In fact, do I really need 5? Let's put it to 3 then. I'm assuming it has something to do. Well, the more data you've got up there, surely the slower it'll be. But Mac, the trouble is sometimes I'll if it works out right that we've got a channel here which is continuing, I'll do that because I don't mind it and it'll often work. But Mac doesn't really talk about what's happening with the previous day, so I don't know why he's having 21 days. Whether it's something to do with the way he plots the daily, whether that's something to do with it. What's going on here? I hate it when he does that. Oh, look at the size of the damn thing. There we go. Let's have a look. Excuse me a second. Though. Some sent me something. Probably more profit. Last week's runner. Wow. See, and you only go for 1 contract, bud. See, so far you're up over $1,000 on that one. You're a good chart reader, mate. You are. So I see so many trades where you tend to go. You're definitely more of a swing trader, and from what I can gather, Buzz, you're good at it. Now I am tempted to take a trade here.
Order submitted.
On the CL. It's a little bigger than I wanted to take. Let me have a look. Trades are based on price action on the left. Yeah. No, let's leave this.
Order
one.
cancelled.
What I'll do is end up red now. It's all right. I was just looking at this chart on the CL. We got a channel with a break a new high. I was looking at that possible short. It's very tempting. In fact, what I might do is let's shut down. What's it? What channel have I got here? Let me just check. I've only got one contract selling here. Sell,
order submitted.
One trade, yeah.
Order
I may
canceled.
just short that. Or for one. Does look like it's working. I may just short that on just one setup. So
order
stop
submitted.
market. Let's put it below there. Leg down, leg down.
Order
Let's
canceled.
forget it. I said I'd finish. It may work.
Order submitted.
It's only really a first entry, isn't it? Yeah, it's a
Order
first entry.
canceled.
Let's forget it. So, I am sorted for the day. I always switch over my PAs to Sims now at the end of the day. For some reason. Yes, mate. Yeah, sometimes I get it. I did this the other week and ended up losing one. Now it was only one. It hasn't worked anyway. It hasn't even triggered. It was only one account. But yeah, I'm up nicely today. So when you decide to finish, I think it's a good time to stick to it. So yeah, I always switch mine on to Sim now. If for some reason you've got any charts left that aren't on Sim, it concerns me that Rhythmic decides to use them. So I also, I'll show you here. There's my things there. So I've got my control panel there, my positions and orders tab, and the two charts. So I always make sure I shut down my Replicanto at the end of the day. So I don't have my Replicanto up, and I open it every morning and set it up, and I always leave my accounts on Sim just in case some freaky reason something happens. So let me just take a quick snapshot of my chart. But it was quite a pleasant trading day today for once, because it hasn't been easy lately. So let's just save my trades. 3rd of the 6th, 24, and that is the ES. I always have all my trading charts here over the last 3 years. Going back to June, or is that July? July 2021, nearly 3 years ago. That's when I started saving them. So that is the ES, so save that one, and the CL. So not a bad day at all today, I'm quite pleased. So big move on that oil. Whether it's a big drop in the grand scheme of things, I'm not sure. 624, and that is the CL. Brilliant. Excellent. So my charts are all saved. And that is it for me today, folks. So best of luck. If you carry on trading, I hope you get a setup. Failing that, have a great evening. I appreciate all your comments. Nice to have Steve in. We got a new face in today. Nice to have new people in. But it's a nice community, this. I like it. Nice to get to know you guys. Learn off me, I learn off you. The more people you mix with, I think the more you learn. It's always good to run ideas through other people, and that's great. So don't forget, this 90% off does finish tonight, but if you do get one of the 250 ones, you can still trade it in a day and pay only the $85 fee up until the 15th. So my code's down there, UKFT. If you use it or have used it, it's appreciated. So failing that, I'll love you and leave you. Have a great evening. Stay safe, and I'll be back same time tomorrow. And hopefully we'll have another good day tomorrow. So I will leave you. Bye for now.